joined by head coach Matt Doherty, coming off your trip back from Northern Iowa where you got the win over NIU. Northern Iowa came in shooting almost 43%. Tonight you hold them to 27%. How? What was the basis of your defensive game plan?
Well, it's kind of fun to go from one game plan to the next. I think that's what makes coaching fun and stimulating. We played against Jacksonville Saturday, and we needed to guard dribble penetration and box out and get back in transition. With Northern Iowa, they're a good three-point shooting team, more perimeter, not as good maybe off the dribble, more pick and rolls, but a big part of their offense is three-point shooting. So we needed to kind of get out to the shooters, chase them off the three-point line. We wanted them to make tough twos within the 10 to 18-foot range. And that's not always easy to do, but I thought our guys did a terrific job, and we stressed the defensive end of the floor, and it was a terrific defensive effort. And I'm talking, from everybody, especially guys like Pop. Pop's a shot blocker, but he would get out on their best player off a ball screen and just switch it and stay in a defensive stance and make them take a tough contested shot. And I was real proud of the guys.
You mentioned a lot of their offense revolves around the three. They only hit 20% of their threes tonight. Is that number even a greater sense of pride to you and your coaching staff than keeping the team under 30% on the whole?
Maybe, because it's a big part. I mean, to me, it's all, the same. Our three-point field goal percentage defense hasn't been great this year, but we didn't want them to make 14 threes. They averaged a little over 7. And I don't even know how many they finished up with. How many threes did they end up with?
Let's see, 5.
Okay. Our goal was accomplished defensively, and I thought the numbers were great. We know that they're not an interior. They don't score inside, and so if we did a good job of chasing them off the three-point line, but yet not giving them layups, and I thought we did that. Our defense was very active. It's a matchup zone, requires a lot of communication, and I thought our guys did that.
A lot's been made this year about Papadilla having such a great year, and certainly the maturation of your Princeton-style motion offense. But in this postseason, you've held Oral Roberts under their shooting percentage for the year, Jacksonville under its shooting percentage, and now Northern Iowa 15 points under its shooting percentage. Are you being shortchanged for having a pretty good defense here at SMU?
Well, I don't know. Shortchanged. I think there's a lot of positives, and so when you go, the positives being, the way we shoot the ball, Papadilla, that may not be in people's top, 3 or 4 things to discuss, and defense isn't the sexiest thing in the world, but it does win. And I felt that when we lost to Houston at home, we needed to really lock in on a defensive identity, and I was trying to do too many things, straight man, straight zone, matchup zone, and just needed to commit to really one defense for the most part and get good at it, and I think we have. We get hurt on the offensive boards at times because we're not a big team, and when you switch, all of a sudden you've got a guard boxing out a center, you can get hurt on the boards, but I really think our defense has become, knock on wood, pretty good, and hopefully it maintains that for the next 2 games.
We've mentioned Papadilla a couple times. He goes for 17 points, 21 rebounds, a couple of blocked shots tonight. A week ago, you didn't know if he'd even play in the first round because his back locked up on him. How much was his back bothering him tonight, and how surprised were you by the performance he turned in for you?
Well, I wasn't surprised by the performance. You're always concerned how the other team's going to play. And at first, they didn't get to him quick enough on the double teams, and that's a credit to our guys and to him. And he got 15 points in the first half. So we knew that they were going to have to change their focus a little bit in the second half, and they did. But yet Pop's so unselfish. He's a willing passer. I didn't know he had 21 rebounds until I saw the stat sheet after the game. But they don't go to the boards, and Pop, I think he's fresh because in a weird way, his back's been bothering him, so he hasn't practiced as much. So I think he's been more fresh. And I really want to thank Dr. Turner and Steve Orsini for the commitment to the program, because we got the charter to Northern Iowa. And I believe that we might not have won the game had we not chartered, because we weren't able to get flights from Chicago to Iowa, so we would have had to fly to Chicago yesterday, the day after the game, or on Sunday, the day after our Jacksonville game, fly to Chicago, and then bus to Northern Iowa, which would have been a 4.5-hour bus ride. So you're talking about from door to door, it would have been 12 to 18 hours. We get on a plane at Love Field, and 2 hours later, we're in Waterloo, Iowa. And I think that was as much a reason we won the game as anything. And I don't know if Pop gets 21 rebounds without taking that charter flight. So the investment that is made in our program by Dr. Turner and Steve Orsini, hopefully we're giving them the return on that investment.
You mentioned the importance of being fresh. Northern Iowa comes into this game having rested for 6 days, coming off a game that was so lopsided none of their guys played big minutes. You played Saturday, you fly Sunday, you play Monday night. How worried were you and your staff that your guys might not get their legs back under them in time?
It's a great question. I think the charter saved that. And I think we have managed, we being our staff, and I've got a great staff. I'm always asking them, like, what do you think? What do you think? And, Larry's experience in the NBA has helped us because we basically played an NBA schedule the last few days. And so keeping them fresh, changing the routine a little bit, more walkthrough type stuff. Like on Sunday, we had a walkthrough instead of a practice. So what's the difference? Well, the guys, it's lighter. It's light stretching, light jogging, 5-on-0 offense, no pounding. Pop didn't practice. Walk through their stuff, shoot for 20 minutes, get on the plane, and we're there. And so, we might not have been able to practice had we had to fly commercially. But we got to watch film. The guys got to sleep. We didn't meet till 12 o'clock. So I think, again, that charter flight and toning down practice has kept our guys fresh and energized. And winning does that too. It's exciting. It's an exciting time of year.
After the game against Jacksonville the other day, I saw the quotes from Jeremiah Samaritpas, and I think it was Colin Mangrum who said, "This is exciting for Mike Walker. He's going home. He's the Iowa guy on the roster." How was he on this trip? Was he nervous? Was he?
Oh, no. Mike's past that as a senior. I think he just was fun for him to be in Iowa, and fun for our guys to be in his home state, and have his family there. His parents were here Saturday at the Jacksonville game. I think drove, back to Iowa, and now we come back and play a home game on Friday. So they're putting some miles on the car. But his parents, how cool is that to see their son as a senior having success and then getting to play, a couple hours from home in the state of Iowa. So it was a lot of fun and a great team effort. Our bench is really playing well, and I think that's helped keep our guys fresh. We had, 9 guys that played over 10 minutes? Everyone who played, and I think it was 9 guys, played 10 minutes or more. And so, that kept us fresh. And so, it's certainly been a fun stretch, exciting, and hopefully we have 2 more wins in us.
You started the season going through a little adjustment period that a lot of teams go through at the beginning of the year. And here you are, you're getting ready to play a game in the last week of March. You've got 20 victories for the 3rd time in your career. How much does tonight's win mean to the program, and how much does it mean to you personally?
I sat on a plane and I've heard, I was in the front and I heard, I was watching the film, but I heard, the laughter and the bantering, and I felt like a proud parent. I felt like seeing my son at a lacrosse game or my daughter at a basketball game. I felt content. I felt like a proud parent, and that's how I feel. So it's a pretty cool feeling to win number 20 and see these guys enjoying this success, and seeing the SMU community rally around this team, from Dr. Turner on down. And that's why having good sports programs is important to the university because it brings